Today, I want us to explore a topic that is as ancient as it is profoundly relevant. Lessons from living in the Roman world. Whether you're a leader, entrepreneur, policymaker, student, or just someone trying to navigate the complexities of modern life, the Roman world has much to teach us about leadership, civilization, luxury, identity, and the human quest for meaning. So, if you're interested in history that doesn't just sit in books but speaks to the present, then stay with me. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. Give this video a thumbs up so YouTube can recommend it to others. And let's dive into the world of ancient Rome. Leadership and governance. Lesson 1. Leadership is the cornerstone of any enduring society. The Roman Republic and Empire offer a compelling case study in how crucial strong, adaptable leadership is for both societal stability and long-term success. Take the examples of Julius Caesar Augustus and Marcus Aurelius. These were not perfect leaders, were ye far from it, but they each governed during moments of enormous tension and transition. Caesar made sweeping reforms amidst a collapsing republic. Augustus transformed a fragile post-Civil War state into a durable imperial system. Marcus Aurelius, facing wars and plagues, ruled with a commitment to stoic philosophy and duty. What they show us is this. Great leadership often requires bold, even unpopular decisions, but those decisions must be anchored in service to the whole, not personal ambition. The lesson? Effective leadership isn't about domination or charisma alone. It's about clarity in crisis, flexibility under pressure, and a vision that extends beyond self-interest. In a world as complex and divided as ours, this kind of leadership is not just desirable, it's vital. Lesson 2. Growth without capacity is a recipe for decline, whether we're talking about empires, corporations, or even our own personal lives. Rome's dramatic expansion brought wealth, influence, and territory, but it also stretched its military, economic, and administrative systems to the breaking point. Managing provinces from Britain to Mesopotamia required more than ambition. It required sustainable capacity, robust logistics, and stable governance. When these support structures fell behind the scale of expansion, cracks appeared and ultimately widened into collapse. This brings us to one of Rome's most important features, institutional strength. Lesson 3. When institutions are strong, societies can adapt. When they're undermined, collapse becomes inevitable. One of the most powerful takeaways from the Roman world is that institutions, not individuals, are the backbone of enduring civilization. In its early days, the Roman Republic was remarkably resilient. Its system wasn't perfect, but it allowed for evolution. Laws could be reformed, new offices could be created, and citizens, at least in theory, had a voice. This adaptability is what allowed Rome to survive wars, political upheaval, and rapid expansion for centuries. But once those institutions began to erode, once laws were manipulated, term limits ignored, and military loyalty shifted from the republic to individual general, the system broke down. Political violence became normalized, civil wars erupted, and eventually dictatorship replaced democracy. It's a stark reminder. Even the most powerful civilization can crumble if its foundational systems are compromised. The modern relevance? In today's world, we must protect and strengthen the very frameworks that uphold democracy, justice, and accountability. From constitutions and courts to free press and civil society. These institutions are not just administrative tools, they're the guardians of stability, the mechanisms of reform, and the engines of trust. Without them, even the strongest society becomes vulnerable. Social and economic dynamics. Rome was not just about emperors and generals. It was a vibrant, multicultural society, wrestling with challenges that feel strikingly familiar today. Take, for instance, their obsession with luxury. The Roman elite dined at extravagant banquets, wore robes woven from imported silk, and decorated their villas with exotic art and marble. Entire economies were structured around feeding elite indulgence, even as the rural poor and enslaved populations laboured with little reward. This growing divide between the wealthy few and the struggling many contributed to unrest, populist movements, and eventually social breakdown. Lesson 4. A society consumed by material excess and inequality will inevitably breed resentment and instability. Sound familiar? In today's world, where income gaps widen and consumerism dominates social values, Rome's trajectory serves as a sobering warning. But Rome wasn't just consuming, it was also connecting. It stood as one of the earliest and most sophisticated examples of globalization. Trade routes extended from the British Isles to North Africa, from the Middle East to India. Roman coins have been found as far away as Vietnam. Goods like spices, glassware, wine, grain, and textiles flowed through vast commercial networks, and with them came cultural exchange, technological advancement, and economic growth. Yet this global integration also introduced economic imbalances, dependency on foreign imports, and exposure to external shocks. And in times of crisis like plagues or war, these interdependencies became vulnerabilities. Lesson 5. Globalization brings prosperity, but without balance and foresight, it can also create fragility. Rome teaches us that while interconnected economies can fuel growth, they must be matched with economic safeguards, inclusive policies, and social investment, or risk tipping into division and collapse. Economic interdependence is powerful, but it must be managed with equity, ethics, and resilience. Rome's trade networks enabled prosperity and cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. But without mechanisms to ensure fair distribution, social protection, and economic balance, that same interdependence contributed to instability. The wealth generated at the centre didn't always reach the margins. Foreign goods became symbols of prestige, not necessity, and entire sectors of the population were left behind. This is a critical message for our own globalised age. Prosperity cannot be sustained if it is built on fragile foundations and growing inequality. Resilience, not just growth, must be the measure of success. Now, above all, perhaps the most sobering and timeless lesson from Rome is this: human nature and shared values. Beyond the politics and economy, there's the human story of Rome. Romans, like us, craved connection and meaning. They wrote letters, attended public debates, shared meals and worshipped together. Whether rich or poor, they searched for identity and belonging. Rome teaches us about the fragility of civilization. Despite its military prowess, architectural brilliance, and advanced legal systems, the Roman Empire fell. Not through a single dramatic event, but gradually, through decades of political fragmentation, moral decline, institutional decay, and external pressures. Rome reminds us that even the most powerful civilizations are not invincible. Great societies don't simply collapse overnight. They erode from within, often while their citizens are still clinging to the illusion of permanence. Lesson 6. Civilization is not guaranteed. It must be nurtured, protected, and renewed by each generation. If we take for granted the systems, freedoms, and structures we've inherited, if we neglect reform, ignore inequality, or dismiss cultural cohesion, we risk repeating the same slow descent. Rome's grandeur teaches us what humanity is capable of. But its fall reminds us what happens when complacency replaces vigilance. Lesson 7. Empathy is a civilizational strength, not a weakness. Technology may change, but human needs remain constant for community, purpose, and shared experience. By exploring the lives of everyone from emperors to enslaved people, we cultivate empathy and understanding. Rome was diverse. It included Africans, Greeks, Syrians, Celts, Jews, and others. Learning about their lives broadens our appreciation for human resilience and diversity. When we study life in ancient Rome, it's easy to focus on emperors, generals, and monumental architecture. But true understanding comes when we look at the lives of everyday people. Soldiers, merchants, artisans, slaves, women, and immigrants who made up the heartbeat of the empire. From bustling marketplaces in Pompeii to humble inscriptions left on tombstones, we see a society where people sought belonging, wrestled with loss, celebrated love, and questioned purpose, just as we do today. By learning about the diversity of experience in the Roman world, we're reminded that history isn't just about power, it's about people. And in recognizing their hopes, struggles, and stories, we develop a deeper empathy for others in our own world. The lesson? Societies that value and practice empathy in their institutions, policies, and everyday interactions are more cohesive, more just, and ultimately more resilient. Empathy doesn't weaken a civilization, it binds it together. Finally, consider the shared values that once held Rome together: honor, duty, public service. These weren't just abstract ideas, they were woven into Roman education, religion, law, and even architecture. The idea that one should serve the republic, defend the family name with dignity, and contribute to the common good was central to Roman identity. Over time, these values eroded, replaced by personal ambition, decadence, and political opportunism. And as the common moral thread frayed, so too did the unity of the state. Lesson 8: a society needs more than laws and wealth. It needs common purpose. Shared values, a sense of duty, trust, civic responsibility are what transform a population into a people. They help citizens move beyond mere coexistence to build something lasting, meaningful, and just. In today's polarized and fragmented world, the Roman experience is a powerful reminder. If we lose the values that bind us, even the strongest laws and the largest economies won't hold us together. Modern takeaways. So what can we take with us from the Roman world? A civilization long gone, yet still echoing through our institutions, cities, and minds. Here are the enduring principles. Prioritize leadership that adapts and serves. Rome teaches us that leadership must be responsive, grounded in purpose, and resilient in the face of change, not driven by ego or personal gain. Strengthen institutions rather than undermine them. Powerful individuals may rise and fall, but it's strong, trusted institutions that hold a society together across generations. Avoid the trap of consumer excess. Rome's downfall was accelerated by a culture of indulgence and growing inequality. Societies must balance prosperity with responsibility. Manage global interconnectedness wisely. Trade and communication can enrich us, but they must be governed with equity, ethics, and long-term planning, not short-sighted profit. Remain vigilant about civilization's fragility. The fall of Rome wasn't sudden. It was gradual, silent, and internal. Every generation must renew and protect what it inherits. Foster empathy and community. Whether in Rome or today, people seek belonging and dignity. Empathy isn't a luxury, it's the glue of society. Uphold shared values that unite rather than divide. Honor, duty, and public service once held Rome together. In our world, we must rediscover the values that transcend tribes and ideologies. The Roman world reminds us that human flourishing requires constant effort. Civilization is not self-sustaining. It must be actively cultivated through wise leadership, ethical choices, and shared vision. The past isn't just something to study. It's something to learn from, reflect upon, and apply so that we can build a future that is not only prosperous, but principled. If this conversation has inspired you, give it a thumbs up so others can discover it too. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and share this video with anyone interested in history, leadership, or modern society. Let's continue the discussion in the comments. What lesson from ancient Rome do you think we most need today? Have you ever seen a parallel between the Roman world and our own? Share your own experience, and let's build a reflective community right here. Until next time, keep learning, stay thoughtful, and remember, the ruins of the past may hold the keys to the future.